think about it, just a perfect end of the season for the Seahawks to just be getting their butt kicks again for the 15th time in a row from the Niners. Geno Smith better right back after this one.
Very nice.
Good line.
We knew
That
you'd
was
be
the line
fired
of the
up for
year.
this one. We knew you'd
That
be
was the
ready.
line of the year.
Very nice. Very nice.
So how do you see this? Geno was the feel-good story of the early part of the season until the Brock Star rolled in. So the first thing is beating a team 3 times. You obviously faced them in a championship game up there. They've never come to the Bay Area for a playoff game. So just how do you see this matchup? It'll be about a month since we saw them on that Thursday night show.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously they have some talented players over there. DK, hothead DK Metcalf. We got Kenneth Walker is obviously a really talented running back. And Geno is playing really well. I think one of the cool stories is you already know how I feel about Russell Wilson and everything.
Big
that
fan.
was awesome.
Big fan.
Everything
We
that
heard.
he did
We
there.
heard. Yeah.
You guys have heard. I
heard.
thought it was awesome in Geno's first year that he broke, Russell Wilson's passing record for the most yards in one season. So that was fun. But I mean, the Niners are rolling right now. I think they look like probably the best team in the NFL, the most complete team. The run game, I think, I've talked ad nauseum almost about how much Christian's changed their offense as far as the running game goes, and they get Elijah Mitchell back. Elijah has 5 touches and goes for 2 touchdowns and almost 10 yards a carry. So he looks ready. Debo's coming back. Defense is healthy. We'll see what Aaron Banks, I think that could possibly be, because he was playing so well for them in the running game. But, Brunskill, like we talked about last week, he's a jack of all trades. And I think it's more about the Niners and what they're doing right now than it is about the opponents, Seahawks, or even going further in the playoffs this year. I really do feel like this has, kind of that magical fairy dust that's on it this year right now. I don't want to say anything out of turn, but it just feels like everything's going the Niners' way. The way that they've overcome all the adversity they've had throughout the year with the quarterbacks and everything that was going on in the off season with moving to Trey Lance and the injuries to him and then Jimmy, just feels right.
How about George Kittle? I know you and he are buddies. Do you have the 7 touchdowns in the 4 games? To have 11 for the season? And a lot of that, look, McCaffrey just so much attention. We've talked about that so many times. But for George, I always thought George would be this big red zone target, and it never kind of came to fruition. But now it is.
Yeah, and some of those catches too. I mean, those are not even just they're not schemed up. I mean, everybody always seems like it kind of gets lost in the 49ers offense. Because you talk about the scheme and guys are wide open, and it's just kind of like a one read and get the ball to the guys. Playmaker's hands really quick, but I mean that ball from Brock in the corner of the end zone was unbelievable over 2 defenders' hands. George's catch to tap those feet. I mean that's a big boy play that was made right there. And it's just been like that for the last, seems 4 or 5 weeks. You knew George was going to do something special. It was his grandmother's 100th birthday, which, by the way, I mean unbelievable genetic genes that the guy's been blessed with. 100-year-old grandma. That's unbelievable.
It is.
And he was going to do something amazing in that game and wasn't surprised to see that. And then I think, too, what goes unseen, it's really hard to see in the game. But, again, I mean, I would tell you this, like George's blocking has kind of fallen off from when he was in 18, 19. He was a really dynamic blocker when he was there. And I saw the last 2 years his blocking wasn't what we were kind of used to. And I think, from the player's perspective, someone that had played with him and watched him, I think that he didn't put as much attention to it. I know it got talked about a lot because, obviously he was so dynamic the years before, but I've been really proud of him this year to getting back to that. I think this has been one of his best run blocking seasons that he's had this 2022 campaign. I think it's right up there with probably that 2019 season, even probably a little bit better because everything he's doing in motions and all that. And, I love to see a guy that's already one of the biggest faces in the NFL, guy that's definitely, face of the 49ers. Everybody knows him, and, he could focus only on his stats and he could focus only on all that other stuff, but he's refocused himself on the run blocking, and he's really making a difference there. And I think he's been a big reason why the 49ers run game has been so successful this year.